And welcome back to Linescapes.
Welcome!
So, you are here at the Feedback Friday show, the day where we take your work that you sent us, your paintings, drawings, and we give our feedback. So it's a great opportunity to get feedback like that. You can always share it with friends, tell them about the show, and yeah, I think there's a lot to learn today, and I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. For everyone who doesn't know yet, hello, my name is Sonia and this is Gasper. Welcome on Linescapes channel. We do videos about drawing and creativity.
And if you want to learn more, you want to improve your drawing skills, but also your creative skills, your right brain thinking, activating your imagination and improving in that field, no matter what kind of creative are you, then you should definitely subscribe and stay tuned for future videos.
Yeah. And give us a thumbs up, That means a lot. Just support from you. A thumbs up.
A thumbs up a day keeps
the doctor away.
A frown from our faces away. Something like
keeps
that.
Our sadness away?
Yes.
Aww. Okay, so we have a few works to look at. I would suggest that we slowly start.
Let's dive right in. So, we were going to be doing this today, as always, in Photoshop. Sonia will be managing your questions and I will be drawing over whatever you sent us and doing our suggestions. Boom! Wow, this is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what do we have here?
It looks like aquarelle painting.
Mm-hmm.
So watercolor painting. It's a church.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it looks like a sunset situation, right? Yeah, especially because the shadow, because of the shadow, I would say, and because of the sky.
I think it's also like this dramatic, eerie feeling. You see this, basically, how these shadows here, they are like reaching, to the church.
Yeah.
And they are, like arms stretching. We have an ominous feeling here.
Yeah, very dramatic.
Very dramatic. It's quite central. I think, yes, central in this case is good. It could be even more central because we have this dramatic, situation coming from every side. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm questioning myself, are we emphasizing the church or this dramatic situation, or probably both?
I think, first of all, it needs to be right, We need to do what's right.
What is right?
What is right is that one side of the church needs to be in the shade.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think not necessarily.
Okay, why not?
Because apparently we're standing here.
Yeah.
Like, let's say we are here.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the church, and since the shadows of the trees are coming, the sun is behind us. So I think that actually, in this case, the whole church might be illuminated.
Okay, that can be possible, but if that's true, then we need to still define the church edges a bit more.
Okay.
Especially the tower with the entrance, so that the sides are clear. That needs to be clear. Because otherwise you won't see how the shadow is reflecting itself on the facade. I think that transition, the building needs to be clear first, so that we can continue then later on with the shadow.
All right. So, one more thing, Sonia. You can tell me if you agree. We need something in the first layer to create this feeling of ominous presence and situation. And do you know what that could be?
Yes, definitely.
What is going to be?
A ominous bunny is missing.
Definitely. So, do you agree, dear viewers? Is there an ominous bunny missing? For those of you who have been on our channel for a while, will recognize the character of the ominous bunny.
Yeah.
It is one that is stretching throughout our narratives and has been on many adventures and visited many of your works. All right.
Okay. Before you start, I think you can color in the white field if you want. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Yeah, well, I am.
But before we start, oh no, you're right. We can? Can we?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, then give a heart out.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to give a heart out and send our love to Louis and Anne.
Thank you, Louis, and thank you, Anne. This card is for you.
And you are amazing. You know that, right? you are amazing. Okay, so I would say Gaspar, start.
Yeah, I have to start. So, yeah, by the way, for those of you who don't know what happened, Louis and Anne sent us a donation via Super Chat. And, you know, we're very grateful for those donations because they help us keep this channel running. Right now, we don't have many options to, you know, for you to support us, but we're definitely thinking about offering something more to you and bringing you even more value. And people have been asking, yeah, how can we support you, even from the countries that don't support Super Chat right now on YouTube. So yeah, we'll come up with something. We also have a Patreon account, you know, but we want to offer you some more value as well. So we're gonna do something about that. So Sonia said, first of all, this church tower needs to be a bit more differentiated from the background.
I mean, this line maybe as well. Yeah. You know, just to have a clear cut between the left and the right side.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I got a question here from Mizuki. How can I keep my drawings from looking stiff?
Stiff, Mizuki. Well, what do you think, Sonia?
Yeah, there needs to be a smiley face or something. Always. No, a joke. Well, there's a lot of things that you can do, and one of those things is that you start using different things, like textures or colors or a mixture of colors. You know, you can de-stiff or unstiff your drawings by just adding more colors or mix more colors together so that you create harmonies. So with that, the more you master the feeling of harmonies and the colors and the textures, the more natural the feelings, the things feel. And also one thing, details. Details are always very important. It also depends what kind of stiffness that is. I mean,
is it stiffness in the neck?
Yeah.
Or in the back?
Yeah. Or I don't know, if you're drawing a still life, then probably there is always going to be a certain level of stiffness. But if you would draw a portrait of me and I would be stiff like this, you know, there's something. Is it meant to be stiff, or is it just looking like this? So yeah.
So, well, I also have one more tip regarding the stiffness. I think the great way to combat stiffness is composition. Because composition can always bring your image to life, can make it more lively and everything. So yeah, composition I think is a good idea and will help you when you try to de-stiff your image. By the way, you know, you all know what's going on here, right? We needed the protagonist in the first in this first kind of plane. And maybe he's lit by some red dawning sun.
Ooh, the ears, yeah, the ears needs to be, you know, the tops. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at what I did. So, okay, first of all, I think this is like a sort of, I went for this kind of Transylvanian, a bit more creepy, ominous feeling, because I think that's what you wanted to achieve with this. It could be a Transylvanian church. I mean, is it? If the author is present, you can gladly tell us. But anyway, maybe this bunny should even be bigger. I reckon now, actually, to make it, you know, to make it more yeah, something like that. We need a bigger bunny. here in the first, yes, like this, so we can really see him. Okay, so why we added the bunny? Because we needed something in the first in the first level of the image closest to us, foreground. Thank you, to create a narrative. Okay, so this was the before, like this, and this is the after. Boom.
Beam.
Yeah, I think you can totally go on back into this image and continue creating. Okay, let's go on. All right, nice. I like this one.
Beautiful brush strokes.
Beautiful brush strokes, yeah, really.
Yeah. Okay, so we have here, I think I like the composition, I like the colors. Maybe what's a bit unclear and can be detailed out here are the tree branches. That's something that I would work on.
Oh, yeah. True.
Maybe the foreground, you know, there's just like a line or two that just smudged.
Ominous bunny?
In the tree branches. And the building behind it. Yeah. I think we can do something about the building.
Yes.
Otherwise, I love the sky, I love the clouds.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
I think just one thing is a bit more in the clouds. I think this one here is a bit stiff in comparison to the rest.
Okay.
This one here is like, you know, these have nice kind of stroke direction. This one maybe we could do something. Okay, but let's start with what you said. So I will start from the first layer closest to us and work my way to the back and see what we can do. So for the first thing here, let's take some, you know, when we do this for your drawings and paintings, we try to take colors from your image, so we don't invent, you know, something new out of context, but kind of work with what we have, you know. So what I reckon maybe could be here is like some kind of fence, you know. Sonia is not pleased. What do you think, Sonia? No?
I'm just like, if I would have like, you know, additional sound, I would just use the cricket sound. Sometimes when I don't agree, or if I just don't know if this will work out, then I'm just gonna be the cricket.
You know what? Let's do this, and then I will put it on a separate layer here in Photoshop, and we can do a different one, a different first layer thingy if this turns out weird, which it might. You know, I totally confess that this might be wrong.
Okay, so you decided to do a foreground. That's why you're drawing the fence, right?
Yes.
It's not like that you thought immediately a fence is missing. No?
No. It's just a foreground thing.
It's just a foreground thing. So actually you could, instead of the fence, you could use something else.
I could. I will add some more leaves here.
Okay. Beautiful.
So we get a foreground layer going.
Okay, so we started, but I didn't say hello yet. So hello to everyone who's watching and joining us today. Hi, and hi, Mizuki. We love, hello. And Tina, Sharon. Who else do we have here? Beza, Fantasy. Hello, everyone. It's so nice that you could join us today.
Yeah.
Where are you tuning in from? Let us know in the chat so that we know what kind of reach do we have today?
Yeah.
Okay, so you started adding some foliage so that you also create a bit more diversity.
Yes, exactly. Okay, now this is the first layer. So I've got something in the first layer going on. Now let's go to the branches you mentioned, and I think I like the way brighter color was used here for the branches, because
it would be totally different feeling if the branches and the trunks would be dark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one tip here regarding drawing branches: always imagine or know where the trunk starts, and then every branch in the tree is supposed to logically extend from the trunk, right? They cannot suddenly go like this. you know, oh wait, you're not seeing what I'm doing. Wait, let me show you again. So you cannot suddenly, you know, every branch has to go extend from the tree trunk. Even if you don't see, you can imagine it's going from the tree trunk. You cannot suddenly do a branch like this. This direction does make no sense because there's, you know, it has to come from the tree trunk. So this will help you when, you know, you're drawing your trees. And I think these branches here will give us a nice detail, nice level of detail that we want in this painting. Yeah, some details here. Okay, and then I think we have to make them a bit darker when they disappear down here. And let's cover them up with the shrubs. Yes, beautiful.
Shrubbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move to the building.
The building, yeah.
What do you suggest for the building? Bit more contrast?
Yeah, and clear lines maybe. You know, there's like a line, the horizontal line, which is not so clear, and it also has some texture, like very short lines. You see the vertical lines? I think that's some sort of confusing. I think we need certain textures that emphasize the roof or the material or something, or the darker part under the roof, you know, because under the roof usually that part it's in shadow. Maybe also adding some more shade.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so Anne says hello from cloudy and cold Seattle. Then we have Sharon from North Carolina. Tina is tuning in from Ljubljana, Slovenia today.
Oh, beautiful. We are visiting Ljubljana next week.
Yes.
It's finally some vacation for us, and we're going to our home country.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to it. Totally. Maybe we're gonna do a live stream, no?
From our vacation. I think we will.
And just sketch for you live.
Yeah.
A sketch or two, just exploring the city a bit.
So look out for our post on Instagram where we'll tell you, okay, we're gonna go live in a couple of hours because we're gonna do it mobile, improvised, nothing like this, just top-down drawing probably. But yeah, we'll try to do it.
Okay, so and then we also have Stephanie from Glasgow, Scotland.
Oh, Glasgow, nice.
Do you remember? I still when we were in Edinburgh a while ago, I bought a Glasgow dialect book.
You bought a Glasgow dialect book in Edinburgh?
You can't remember anymore? I know that I found an old bookstore once when we were just exploring, and then it was like a second-hand bookstore, and I bought a book there about Glasgow dialect, and it was wonderful.
We just love Scotch English. It's beautiful. Really, we really enjoy it.
Yeah, and then we also have Vincent from Love from St. Vincent.
All right.
Okay.
Well, meanwhile, I think I finished.
Okay.
And now
show us what you got.
Yeah. All right. So added the foreground layer with the fence. I don't know if it's the best, and added some bush here. Okay, let's look at it. This is the before. Doesn't have the foreground layer. Doesn't have the depth and the trees, and this is the after. Yeah, I think it's good.
I think it's good as well.
Yeah?
I like it. So, even with the fence.
Do you like it? Was the fence a good idea, or should something else be in the foreground?
Yeah.
Do tell us, yes or no.
Okay.
Thumbs up or thumbs down.
Okay, so we also got a name. Vilov is her name, or his name is Abira.
Abira, yeah. Is that a male or female name? A lot of times we cannot guess.
Okay, so next sketch, and there's also a photo.
A reference photo.
I think so, yeah.
There is. This must be it. Okay.
Yeah, you can also move it a bit, so maybe it was. And this is also, I added a layer to add some brightness and contrast, which fits together with that. You click here.
Okay, I get it, yeah. Okay, yeah, now we see better.
So that everyone can see it.
Okay, so I guess the reference photo, the reference that we're drawing here, let's zoom in a bit, is this castle. Where is this castle? Is the author with us? It's like a castle ruin in the middle of the forest. Looks intriguing, looks interesting.
Yeah. You won't just go there and explore.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
I bet it's full of bats, and those bats are protected, and you cannot do anything.
Yeah, so, meh.
I mean, meh. It's good that we protect bats, but yet, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Okay, so, right. We have a couple of things. I think I would almost... I would draw it differently. Instead of, you know, giving you tips on how you drew this, I would say, let's draw it again, and I will try to explain a couple of things while I draw it. How about that? I think that would be better, almost, as now drawing over yours, because I think you can kind of get more out of it. So let's make this bigger. So your focus is this castle, and this, you know, presents an interesting problem, because obviously there's nothing much or not much else going around except for the, you know, going on around it except for this forest. So you have to kind of invent some lines or see some tree lines that
may I add something?
Yeah.
I would focus on, for example, it's related to the topic that you were just talking about, the invention of lines and surroundings. So usually the fortresses and towers and castles have always this pristine position or location, which is always protected from at least one side. If it's not protected, then usually it's on a hill. In this case, if you see below, where's the line with the chimney and the roof, you see some stones. So probably this part before that, I don't know how old is that castle, but let's say it's 200 or 500 years old.
Probably more.
In that case, back then, this slope was probably just, how do you say?
Bare.
Bare. It was probably bare. And I would...
Bare? You call it bare? It didn't have any trees. It was a
treeless. It was a treeless hill.
Barren? I don't know. Did I just say something stupid? It
probably.
was without trees.
Yeah. Hillside. Yeah, you would probably see the topography of the hillside.
Yeah.
And I would try to emphasize those stones more, you know, and just clean some of those trees.
Yeah.
I would make the lines of the stone more visible.
And what I just started doing here is like try to see some lines in this forest, you know, and this is the ones that we're going to draw to give, you know, some context. So okay, let me draw this out, and I would suggest you draw it then again. I'll just do it in black and white. You do it in color then. I will suggest you try it again and try to bring this kind of texture in structure in. So like try to see where this. So okay, this is the castle, la la la. And now I would go like, okay, so here is one tree line, and it's important to emphasize this one. So there's another one coming back here. And then there's a third one, maybe here, going like that, you know, more like firs. And then we have these cliffs. So try to draw some cliffs down here.
Awesome.
All right. So okay, now we have this castle bit here, right? Now you need to, like in yours, you left a bit blank around the castle, but you need to do the background. Yet now either darker or lighter, or the castle darker. So you have to make a contrast between the castle and the background. So the background has to be lighter or it has to be darker. You know, you decide. So now I'm going to do the background darker. Then the castle. A bit, I'll try. Oh, it's not obeying. As usual. I'll have to do it again.
Yeah, okay. Meanwhile, I will write some read some comments.
Do read some comments.
So Vincent said, a tip with a pencil when building a branch system is to use a. Do you maybe know what's the strishica? Klukta.
Check mark.
Check mark. To use a check mark form when the short end with a short end of the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I think that's something very useful. Thank you, Vincent.
All right. Now I also brought in some structure by doing different darkness, different level of darkness on these layers. So you can see behind the castle there is a light one. Now we have like a darker one, and let's do around the castle like the darkest one, so we kind of emphasize it a bit. Look at it. And we have like a light, dark, light sequence. Okay, right. Well, this is, let's say, a structure or a composition I would suggest you take and then you redraw in all your style and try to capture what we suggested here. The reason I drew this is because this is a very difficult view. Normally I would just go into your sketch and say, okay, let's fix this, but I want you to get this view correct because it's hard to draw something against a flat forest hill. Mm-hmm. You have to really look for the structure in the forest and sometimes kind of even invent it a bit, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I did here. You see those red lines.
Okay, so Darren said, oh, this is exactly what I want to learn to do. So amazing, Kasper. I think everyone appreciates your advice. And we can carry on. For everyone who just joined, hello, how are you? Where are you tuning in from today? We are halfway through, so you still made it. And yeah, let's continue.
And you are just witnessing the last Feedback Friday.
Yeah, it's the last Feedback Friday, that's true.
And at the end of the show, we'll tell you how this will continue. But for now, we are here and you have some things to learn and we have some things to tell you. Okay, so this came from a person who asked me on Instagram, that's how to, practice drawing objects. And what kind of advice would we have?
Well, it depends how advanced you are. If you're a beginner and you just decided to start drawing, my advice would be to start with geometrical shapes.
Yes.
So first of all, imagine your objects being placed in geometrical boxes. This is how you're gonna always get a feeling of space, this three-dimensionality, which is usually missing when starting out. Drawing can be achieved by just imagining that you would place the oranges and the lemons and this candle in a box. And how would they look like?
In a box or like in a cylinder or something that fits best.
Yeah, that's the first thing. Then what would be another thing?
Another thing would be, I would sketch something like that, like a skeleton, to get the feeling of the composition,
Yeah.
Like I did here. The second one is, I think, now it's time, we do it really with fine lines. Now it's time to also think about some, axes, like, okay, this is the middle of this candle, you can totally kind of mark yourself, this is the middle, kind of, okay, this lemon has an axis like this, so you have a bit of a feeling of how these things work, and they should, don't do it like in fat like I did. Oh, whoops. You should do it more subtly, you know. So it's like a fine pencil sketch before you start.
Yeah, yeah, and you can also, before you start drawing, you can also just do a small thumbnail sketch on the edge, you know, just in the lower or the upper corner. Just do a very small, like a few centimeters wide sketch of your composition. Because at the beginning, when you're starting out to draw, you don't have you just don't know how to position the elements. And very often it happens when you start drawing that some of the elements or the main element that you would like to draw does not fit on the piece of paper. So you can prevent that by just doing a small sketch where you do a framework of your piece of paper. For example, you would like to do a portrait on the vertical positioned paper, and you would start out just by doing like a small vertical frame and trying to position a head with the face expression and the hair, everything that you would like to draw in that small thumbnail sketch. And afterwards, you start constructing the portrait, first with starting out with geometrical shapes. Sorry, Gasper.
Nothing to be sorry about. So what I just did here, I redrew the view on the left with more accurate forms, because this is a problem with drawing, let's say, faces or objects, you know, still life. Our brain sees a candle and goes, oh, I have to draw a candle, and it draws a candle as your brain remembers a candle looks like, or a lemon or an orange. But actually, you have to blend out the fact that this is a candle and just slowly retrace the form of the candle, right? Because you, for example, the lemon on the right, you turned it wrong. It's actually turned kind of towards us, while it should be turned, you know, away from us. So this is kind of stuff when you have in your head, oh, I have to draw a lemon, then you draw it in some way, but actually, if you really want to do it correctly, you have to just observe the forms, retrace the outlines, and this is also something I would first do really fine with the pencil. Yes, and then the last thing that we could say maybe is the shading. So right now you did like the shading around your objects, right, to make them pop out, which is fine. But I think the objects themselves should be the darker elements, and you can use shading to do that. You know, if you know the light is coming from here. Yeah, what do you want to say?
Well, maybe we can also say why. Of course, this is how you emphasized your objects, what you wanted to draw. But if you want to add a feeling of three-dimensionality, something that has like a spatial form, you know, that takes a position in the space, like candle. It's not something which is 2D, but it has like a 3D surface, which the object lays on the 3D surface. And because it has like this mass, this volume, it creates a certain shade and shadow. And if you don't add the shade and shadow, then it's gonna just look flat.
Oh, we have two lights here, I actually realize now. We have like one. Oh no, it's coming from the other side. Yeah, it's two lights.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Quite more light sources then.
Quite a challenge. There's another one from here. So yeah, I would kind of do away with these dark surroundings and just paint in the objects in a more dark shade. So basically, your objects are the darkest elements, you know, and should, like Sonia said, be able to convey this feeling of three-dimensionality more easily, right? Okay, so but I'm not gonna shade all of them now, because I think I explained a lot of these principles.
We can also slowly move to the next one.
Yeah, and I would suggest you do it again and try to think about the things we just told you. And if there are any other questions regarding this, yeah, be sure to ask us now. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Wow.
And like an illusionary drawing.
Amazing, huh? How do you think this was created?
I don't know. This is really, how does one do something like this?
It looks like it was cut out, right?
It is cut out because you have to look at it from a certain angle to make it work. Then in this illusion, it only works from this angle.
Yeah, but you know what I miss? I think that the shadow should be finished.
The shadow should be finished?
Yeah.
And what kind of?
Well, I would not cut it out from the paper.
The shadow.
Yeah.
So the shadow should also extend like the tip does.
On the paper, you know. I would use the paper to add the. I would just work with when drawing. I would work with longer format of paper so that the shadow would also fit on that format, and then the tip can still reach out. You know?
Yes, because this is actually it's destroying the illusion. It could be even better.
Yeah, I think that's something through that maybe you really get it. Oh right, it's a drawing, but somehow this cut is very brutal. For me. I think.
So yeah, I wouldn't even draw now on this one because I don't know what to correct. Correct what, but I would just say our feedback. So do also fit your shadow. The thing here, on the paper, like Sonia said, like try to this thing. Where's my red? No. Try to fit this thing here on the paper. So I would say it would have to be something like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this would and then you would have to like take your paper and have a bigger piece of paper, and that would make the illusion even better if you fit your shadow hole on the paper.
Yeah.
But way to go! I've seen some of more drawings from this author, this illusionary, and they're quite cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, keep doing it. Awesome stuff.
Okay, so Tina said I would maybe add a few darker spots to exaggerate contrast.
Oh yeah, this is true. It could have more depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, more contrast. Tina is completely right.
Okay.
All right. Nice.
Very nice.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful stuff. But also, which I like, we can give you some feedback on how we would do mostly plants. What do you think, Sonia?
Yeah, I love the style. I must say, the style is beautiful. It has something which is recognizable. Yeah. It's a bit messy, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I like it because who said that everything needs to be like the lines needs to be clear and everything needs to be perfect and fitted together? This is extremely beautiful sketch.
Life can be messy. It's allowed to be messy a bit.
Yeah, but in comparison to architecture, which is beautifully messy, the plants are still something that can be worked on, because that would make it a bit more, how do you say, that would make it a bit more readable.
Yeah.
It would have a bit more order. Yeah. It would
we have to shuffle order through different languages to get to English.
Yeah. Today I already spoke for hours in German, so.
And then when we speak Slovene, so sometimes we get all confused when we start talking English with you. Actually, before we start our live streams, we usually start talking in English for 5 minutes to get into the language a bit. It's quite funny, but it helps.
Okay, so Tina said, wabi-sabi kind of drawing. A bit of imperfection gives the object a soul, essence, feeling. Love it.
Wabi-sabi. That's the Japanese art of imperfection, right? Of mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think what you said, Sonia, is in the background. The background has like these squiggles for plants, and a lot of people do just kind of squiggles. I think it should be like closed lines to represent the trees.
Yeah. It depends. Sometimes you can also do trees with unfinished lines, but especially those kind of drawings
function. But it is not these days.
Well, when I think it's very good to have those kind of lines, when you're doing like axonometry, when you're doing like a 3D presentation for a project that you need to present, and then you do some small sketches, and that's when you can also just very schematically emphasize the tree or vegetation, because it's not so important, but it still gives like openness, some sort of, I leave the interpretation to you, dear viewer, then that's nice. And in this case, I think it's like the architecture is very nicely finished, so so I think it deserves like a clear line in the background.
Okay.
But this is just our opinion. You can say, no, not possible.
You can make a thumb down and let us know in the comments that, what we say, you're not on board with that.
Okay, so Tina is asking, what kind of media is that? Watercolor or markers?
Oh, good question.
Good question. Yeah, it's very hard to identify. I can't say. I really can't.
I think it's a marker. Because of the strokes in the trees. Oh, it could also be a brush. No, I think there's water involved because some of the ink got smudged.
But there's also ink that gets smudged by markers,
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, is the author present? And if yes,
why don't you tell us?
Please.
Okay, so okay, Tina said yes, Wabi Sabi. There is a great video from School of Life on this topic.
Some School of Life. Oh, School of Life, is that
the ones that make illustrations, I think.
Oh, what?
Yeah, they do like small illustrations. They present like a topic and they do animated illustration.
Okay.
Yeah, but hand drawn.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Right? Am I correct? I'm not sure, but I think so.
Okay, so I added some more orderly plants in the back. Now I'm adding a bit more darkness to these plants. So the problem is, I was sketching yesterday outside. Some of you I did a live stream. Some of you might have been around. I know Tina was when I was drawing outside yesterday. So, and the challenge I had yesterday is that I had to differentiate between architecture and plants. So I had to decide to make plants either darker or lighter than architecture. And this is the same thing here now. If we want the plants to be different than architecture, we have to do it in a different kind of texture, darker or brighter. Yeah.
Okay, when you observe Kasper, how he draws is that he goes in, he goes in the drawing, he tries to add details, and that's when he moves to the drawing, so to the piece of paper. And then when he's doing something which would emphasize something in his drawing, he steps away. So this is also a very good tip to give to you. When drawing, don't keep still. Move your body, move yourself. It's like you need to check yourself as well. What do you do? How do you draw? So that's why always stretch yourself, just move away, get a glass of water, come back, and then look at your drawing again.
Yeah.
Because you're going to notice much more details that you didn't see before.
Extend your hand or zoom out if it's digital. All right, I think I'm done with this one.
Yeah.
Whoops.
That was the final line.
Yeah, the final line that makes it all kaput.
Yeah. Okay. Show us, Kasper.
All right, so this is the before. And 3, 2, 1, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
That would be our suggestion. Yeah. So you can take it, dear artist, and do with it whatever you want. All right, we've got some zero gravity room going on.
Okay, yeah, interesting. What are your thoughts, Kasper?
Well, many things. First of all, I think there's some feedback we could give here on perspective. This is the first thing. Second would be on shading and lighting, because right now everything is kind of in this diffuse light. In the back there is some shading to make the couch pop out, but it's not a very realistic kind of shading. So these are my thoughts. And what are yours?
Yeah, definitely. I would first of all focus on the elements because they are drawn in axonometry and the
perspective.
What?
Oh, they are drawn in axonometry, but should be in perspective.
Yeah, the elements are drawn in axonometry, but actually what we're looking at is a perspective. So these are two different things. Or you use one, or you use the second thing. And because the feeling of space is here so present, we need to emphasize the perspective part. So that means that elements that are placed in that space are taking the same direction as the perspective, which is, it's the objects are just stretched into the perspective in the space. So before anything else, I would first of all start with elements before you start coloring and adding shading and stuff like that. Make sure that your elements are sitting nicely, that you can see that there's a perspective feeling going on, so that the elements really communicate with the space.
Yeah, and this is going to be hard to do. Here, you will have to use your feeling a lot. But it's good if you would use boxes, and you see that would be a bit more different. Here it would go into the perspective, so the edges that are away from us are going to be smaller than the one in front of us, right?
Also, Tina said something which is very important and true. Shadow on the floor from the objects, maybe.
Yes.
It would even boost the feeling that they are flying.
Good. Yeah. This is very good. Also, one thing is, like, if this ventilator has 3 equal sides, there would be something more like this.
What's the difference?
Huh?
Let us know what's the difference. Why did you decide to just turn it around a bit?
The ventilator?
Yeah.
It's hard to say at this point because it's a feeling. I just think these look a bit off. And many times, it's just I've drawn so many things in perspective in my life that I kind of have a bit of a feeling for it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have like an explanation? I mean, yeah, of course. Look, this would be a circle in perspective, actually.
Yeah, actually, the last one would be even shorter.
The last one should be even shorter. Yeah, you're right, because it's so far away, and along this circle, those 3 are placed.
Yeah.
So help yourself with geometric forms. It's gonna be hard because you have this horizon line here, and everything in your room vanishes to this vanishing point there, except for your objects. Your objects now each have their own vanishing point and their own horizon. So this will make it hard. I mean, the horizon will be the same, but the vanishing points will be different.
But Kasper, can we just do it for our own personal entertainment? If I say, Kasper, create another layer, and try to correct just the things that you can. You have this existing drawing. How can we make it better?
Yeah.
Let's add some shadow on the floor. I think that would be an amazing idea. Maybe add some shadow on elements like sofa, where you can easily see that it's still very flat and missing something. Maybe emphasize something which would be in the foreground, for example. The sofa again, maybe emphasized, or pieces of paper, elements that are more in foreground and elements that are maybe more in the background.
Oh, this idea that to put shading,
it's great.
It's great, actually. It's really so it's a good idea. It gives you the feeling of where in the space these actually are, because we don't know how high these now are. The bowl of fruit or mist or whatever it is, cereal. And now we know like where in the space it floats. This is good.
Yeah.
Good suggestion, Tina. Now, the woman here trying. Is she a magician? Because she looks like, completely calm.
I'm not sure she knows what she's doing. She just took a book from a shelf and she started floating. So it could be that she does not know her powers yet. But maybe you, dear viewer, give us a comment. What is this picture all about? What's it all about? That's really how would you reinterpret your this drawing? Would be very, very interesting to hear. So my version was that this this person does not know how to use her powers and somehow made this room levitate.
But like, is she aware that, because she looks calm, she's like, she's been doing this, like, you know, oh, not again, I have to put the books back, you know, it's like she already did it so many times, or maybe, you know, she's not like panicking.
Yeah, but I have a feeling like that she does not know about it yet. She's like in shock a bit, you know.
Could be.
I have this feeling.
She's in denial. I'm not floating.
I'm just not floating. I'm just not floating. I'm not floating.
Okay, so let's just see the difference. We told you, you know, the technical stuff that we suggest, but let's just see what adding the shading will do, the shadows will do, and it does wonders. I love, you know, how it works out. Yeah, do try it out.
Okay, so we have another question here from Darren. Do you have advice for doing 1-point perspective indoors? I applied for architecture and 1-point perspective videos to my bedroom and had trouble with distance, perspective, and object placement.
Yeah, well, we did some videos about that, right?
Yeah.
On perspective, and I think those will help you a lot.
Yeah.
On YouTube, go on our channel and find some videos on perspective. We have a couple, I think, 1, 2, 3.
I'm gonna try to find 1 or 2 for you right now, so and post it in the chat.
Yeah, we can also post it later in the video description. So if you're watching this on replay, then you can find it. And if you're watching this on live or replay, we totally appreciate if you left us a comment, generally, how you like this kind of videos. You know, we were thinking about this Feedback Fridays, thinking about, you know, should we continue doing them? How do you like it? Is there value that you're getting? And if you're getting any value, we'd appreciate the feedback. And also, you know, thumbs up. It helps get the video out to more people. All right, Sonia, we've got some mountains. Mountains. Okay, so these are obviously thumbnail sketches. You can see the hand for reference. They're basically called thumbnail sketches because they're a size of thumbnail and actually are almost the size of a thumbnail in this case. Yeah, it's a good way to draw. I guess this was an exercise in different kind of mountains. Well, what I would do in this case, I would just go into each one and, you know, do some small suggestions that, you know, I would have. What do you say? Yes, Sonia agrees.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm free. I can do whatever I want. Sonia is distracted. Okay, let's go. Let's use this opportunity.
But then, you know, I'm just gonna be occupied or busy for 1 minute or two, so you know.
I will draw an ominous bunny in each one of them. Okay, so this is a case where we have a mountain in the background and hills in the foreground. If the hills are foresty, I would do them in a dark layer because they're then always darker than the mountain. You know, forest foliage is very dark visually, and then the mountain, if it's you know, rock, bare rock, then it's brighter. Okay, so this is what I would do here. Oh, this is an interesting one. If you want to create the feeling of depth in a such small sketch, you can either do one. You can start with the darkest layer and then do them lighter, or you can alternate between dark and light layers, which is what I'm going to do here. Something like this. This will also create a feeling of depth. Voila. And, you know, something in the back like that. So this is what I would do here. This is a small tip for everybody here. If you have a landscape element like a mountain and do this, you know, very strong outline, yeah, then you have to do the same thickness of the line everywhere, right? You cannot just do a dark frame. It looks just okay. It just doesn't look good, right? Because it flattens the image, right? So be sure if you already made a dark frame, then be sure to make all the other lines also not the dark, a thick frame to make all the other lines thick as well. Okay.
This is actually a very good trick. Did you notice that this person submitted not 1 sketch but 20 on 1 piece of paper?
Actually, this is
and you're just like correcting the 4th one. So I'm not sure that we should do all 20 because Maybe we can focus on the ones that really needs our.
I knew it's not gonna last. I knew Sonia's gonna notice sooner or later, and we go like, "What are you doing?"
No.
Anyways,
no.
but I did the uppermost four, and I think the first row, the top four. So yeah, let me talk about them a little bit because I think the same principles would apply. So first of all, yeah, I said forest darker, here. Then I said alternate between dark and light layers. Then if you have one thick dark line, then all of them have to be thick. You cannot just frame the mountain and it will flatten. And I just filled in here the trees until the bottom because there was a hole, there.
Top row,
Top row, thanks. Yeah, this is the before. Whoops. And this is the after. Boom. I love the idea of drawing small thumbnails, so good job. All right. Oh, right. Oh, you saved like an amazing one for last.
Yeah, because there needs to be some,
sweet.
Strong finish.
Wow, sweet. Okay.
Yes.
So what have we got here?
A sketch, a drawing. It looks like a church, right? Or a palace, or a castle, or
castle, churches, something. A lot of spires, definitely.
Okay, so this is Simila in Cebu, Philippines. Using dry twig and ink.
A dry twig?
Yeah.
How does that look? It's like actual tree twig, or is that a tool called twig? Well, I mean, is this something you just, break and dry and then you do it with it? Or, I mean, anyways, it's amazing. So what I like about this one is that it's hiding a little bit of color theory in there. So it has a bit of orange, a bit of blue, and a bit of red.
A little bit.
A little bit. I think orange, blue are complementary, so they look quite well. I think the red should be, because it's out of the scheme, it's kind of this outlier of this color scheme, should be used more conservatively. I would actually add less red. Or if we use red, we would have to use, I will consult the color wheel, color wheel. We would have to use some green if we want to have red. To have then like a tetradic color scheme. So maybe the black here, the darkest areas here could, these here should have some green in them. Like obviously not as extremely green as I just did, but like subtle green. This could also make it a tetradic color scheme. I can imagine something like this. Whoops. It doesn't need, it can be very subtle, but it will do it, I think. It will help it. Even darker it could be. Something like that. Yes. What do you think?
Yeah. I think there needs to be right amount of green, but definitely it brings out the red.
Yes.
I'm thinking it's so special, this technique. I think it's so special that there are for sure some things that I would mention. And one thing is that right now I'm just thinking about different things, not regarding color, but maybe some composition,
I'll add some green in there, and
yeah.
I'll listen to what you have to say regarding the composition.
So usually you use color because you want to emphasize something. You do that. You create ambience, and color always says something more. It's like additional information, and here is the same. But still, for example, the person who drew that decided to do this. What was that?
Philippines.
Yeah, this was similar. Yeah, this architecture, it has lots of color, but I think it needs like a strong finish. You know, it would be much more satisfying if at the end here would be like also some small black dot, like this vegetation with those twigs or something. You know, for me that would mean that it sits a bit better, because then this architectural piece would be emphasized a bit better. It would sit a bit better for me.
Okay. Also, one thing that we could do, and I know you cannot do it now, dear author, but check this out. Adding some, oh, you can. Adding some highlights. You've added a lot of dark colors, and now if you get out a white pencil or some white pastels, you can highlight some of these elements. And I think, look at that, how much it comes to life, especially because your paper is a tinted paper. Whenever you're using a tinted paper, do not underestimate how much a white paint can do. It really shines. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Can you still do like a black thing here?
Yeah, like that?
Just go out of the format.
Oh, yeah. Oh, now I get what you want to say. Okay.
Not much, but just it needs to be like a lamp here, which frames the architecture. Yeah.
Okay. Well, awesome. Wow. Well, I like what we did. I already liked it before, but let's see the difference. So this is the before, and this is the now. Boom. So we brought in green, made it a tetradic color scheme, added white for highlights. I think you should try it too. Okay. So, as we said, this is the last Feedback Friday.
Yeah. We're very sad to see it leave.
Like that, Feedback Friday.
Yeah.
It's going to be replaced by
Feedback Tuesday.
Yes, this is what we... Okay, this was much more confusingly announced that we wanted, but yeah, this is...
I didn't know that you're waiting for me, but we can do it again. Let's try it again.
So, the Feedback Fridays, ladies and gentlemen, from now on, will no longer be Feedback Fridays, but they will be...
Feedback Tuesday!
Ta-da! So we decided to do that because we asked around when you have time, and it turned out that Fridays are the time when the least people have time. So we moved it to Tuesdays. We'll see how it goes. In the next 2 weeks, we do not have a Feedback Tuesday because we're going on vacation. And so after that, on August 11th, it's going to be the first Feedback Tuesday. So yeah, we're going to tune in from vacation. There are not going to be any live streams, but we're going to not do regular ones from the studio, but we're going to do ones from the field, sketching from the field live and stuff like that. Improvise.
Spontaneous. Let's be wild.
Yeah, follow our Instagram or hear the YouTube stories. We'll do some, we're definitely taking our sketchbooks with us, and we're going to do a lot of drawing and painting. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, if you have sketches that you would like to show on the next Feedback Tuesday, then definitely send it over. You can send it on our Facebook group called Linescapers.
Definitely join there. It's an amazing place to be.
Or you can also post it on Instagram.
Yeah, just DM it us right for Tuesday in the future.
Hashtag for Tuesday, yeah, or just Tuesday, so that we know, yeah.
Before wrapping up, I will send out another heart.
Yes.
And this goes to Tina. Thanks, Tina, for your support and your donation.
Yeah, we're looking forward to see you live.
Yeah, we hope we'll see you right on our vacation.
Yeah.
And maybe do some drawing together.
That would be amazing. Would that not be great?
That would be great.
To sketch together. Wow. Let's do that sometime. Okay. Dear Linescapers.
Wish you a nice rest of the Friday and really glad that you were around.
Yeah. Till then, you know what to do.
Keep on drawing.
And stay creative.
Bye-bye.
Bye.